Hey Tim, sorry I'm late with my contest entry. I know I'm technically entered anyway, but even if I wasn't and you had the draw already, I was still going to make this video anyway because I said I was going to. Sorry. Anyways, so you would just want us to talk about our favorite comic or one of our favorites or whatever. So I picked out one from my early days of collecting. So I started collecting comics when I was 14 in 1989, and basically 89 and 90 were pretty big years for me in terms of collecting comics and really getting into Japanese stuff like anime, manga, and then and then a couple years later, getting into Hong Kong stuff too, lots of like Asian stuff, and also the Italian horror movies that you and I both like and stuff like that. But anyways, so I walked into the Silver Snail, which was very new, in 1990, and I saw this on the shelf, on the rack. Dirty Pair, Plague of Angels, Part 1. This is the third mini-series, although I didn't know it at the time. I later got the previous two as well, by Adam Warren. Now, this popped out at me for a few reasons. I had just started getting into anime and manga as well, which was which was still very new to me at the time. I can't remember if the first manga I got was in 89 or 90. I really don't remember. It was one of those 2 years though. And I had heard of the Dirty Pair before from very, very small English language anime magazines like this one here, Animag. See, those are the anime versions of them. I hadn't seen the anime at the time because it wasn't available, and I hadn't made pen pals with anybody at that point in the U.S. to get fan subtitled anime. I eventually started tape trading with people to get fan subs and stuff like that, and I ended up getting some at conventions as well. But at the time, I still had not seen any of the anime. But I knew what it was because of this magazine, and I also used to pick up, also with the Silver Snail, import Japanese magazines, which of course I couldn't read, but I was really interested in all of this. So I still have a lot of these old magazines that I paid like $10, $13, $14 for, which was quite expensive at the time. Like this one, Animedia, which has Akira in it, and I got some new types. All my new types have there's one with Gundam on it. All my new types have bent corners because they're too bloody big. They don't fit properly in a magazine box, and there's no bag that fits them either. But anyways, so I got a bunch of like anime magazines like that and stuff. So I knew who Dirty Pair were, kind of. Just hadn't seen any of the anime yet. But when I saw this, I knew right away that it was not drawn by a Japanese manga artist. I mean, obviously it looks like in that style, but there's also something American about it as well. So that looked very interesting. And I found out that unlike most anime, which is based on manga, Dirty Pair was based on a novel, and there was no official manga in Japan. And so Adam Warren and Torrin Smith at Eclipse Comics, the rights for this eventually went to Dark Horse, and Adam Warren went with them, and he later made Empowered, which I might show later. But anyways, they acquired the rights, or Eclipse acquired the rights to do an American manga of Dirty Pair, like an official one. So that was pretty interesting. And so I opened it up, and I was blown away right away, just by the artwork. This was one of the first few comics, black and white comics that I picked up, and this comic right here is the one that made me start to really appreciate black and white art, and I actually started seeking out comics that were just black and white. Because I did not realize the amount of detail that could be achieved in black and white, either with just ink, and Adam Warren uses all kinds of shading in this, and in his previous Dirty Pair miniseries, this is the first one. You can even tell right from the cover that he was still in art school while he was doing all of these, and you can see how much he improved. Like, not that this is bad or anything, this is still very good, but you can see how much he improves from miniseries to miniseries. Like the difference in detail and everything between this and this is huge. Here, yeah, these are a cool couple of pages here. Like, there's just so much detail and stuff going on here, and other things that Adam Warren did that I hadn't seen still at that point. Because again, like I only really started collecting comics in '89. This came out in 1990, so there was still plenty of stuff that I had not seen. And in part 2, this is one of my favorite covers of all time, by the way. This is part 2 of A Plague of Angels. And in this issue, I know I'm supposed to just talk about one, but that is the one that really did a lot for me. And I'm still going to talk about that one. But I started talking about detail and different like paneling and stuff. So I want to show you some stuff that he did in issue 2. So here we have, this is Corey Emerson. She's a reporter. Now you can see how she ends up like going out. She's not even really in a panel. Like she's kind of like in this panel here, but then her legs come out into the ones next to it and everything. Like, I hadn't seen anything like that before, and so like I thought that was really cool. And he does a lot of really cool angles and stuff. I know there's some stuff in here. Well, yeah, even just like really subtle stuff like this panel right here. The angle is just tilted slightly. I thought that was interesting. Some of the club shots and stuff, there's a lot going on. This is another one of those like sort of like tilted angles that he started to do, maybe not like a lot of, but enough that I noticed. Like the few comics that I like started collecting early on were basically Web of Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk, and then pretty shortly after that, I guess, the Sandman, Neil Gaiman's Sandman, and anything weird that I saw, like Flaming Carrot, I picked that up too. The way he does action and facial expressions, I'm really big on facial expressions. Adam Warren is super good at conveying emotion, and just you can just like tell what a character is going to say or be thinking just from the way he draws them. Again, we have some more interesting angles that I thought was really cool. And then here Kay is again like coming out of, like, her legs are coming out of the panel that she's in. So he did a lot of stuff like that I thought was really cool, that I hadn't seen before. As for the story itself and the characters, Dirty Pair are Kay and Yuri, and they are trouble consultants for the 3WA, the World Welfare Work Association. So they're called in to deal with really big problems, like on a global scale or a galactic scale. Their code name is the Lovely Angels, but they're more commonly known throughout the galaxy as the Dirty Pair, because although they get the job done, they leave mass destruction and death in their wake. But it's never their fault. That's also kind of their I don't know if you want to call it a catchphrase or whatever. That's something they say a lot. It's not our fault. That's really cool. Like every panel in here is just really super cool. K on top of the giant gun and shit like that. It's awesome. Adam Warren, I remember reading a long time ago, often forgot to put this kind of thing in the comics because it is in the anime. They all have they're like modified humans. They both have these ports on their necks, so that they can interact with computers, machines, and stuff like that. That's how they operate these mechs here. And this is one of the very few times in the comic where he did that. I remember reading a comment section in one of the, or a reader mail section or whatever, in one of the issues, from a fan asking who was familiar with the anime why he didn't do that more often, and he replied saying that he usually forgets. So it's two girls with giant guns dressed in what looks kind of like, you know, like a bikini, but that's their work uniform that they choose to wear. That's pretty awesome to me. And it doesn't take itself seriously either at all, of course. So that's another thing I really like. It's just very, very entertaining, and I love the artwork on it. So even though it's not, you know, actual manga done by a Japanese manga artist in Japan, this was just one more comic that got me more and more interested in Japanese stuff, in anime and in manga and stuff. And I wish I could remember. I don't think it was. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Dirty Pair. I mean, there was some other manga before that that I picked up, and I can't remember what the first one was. But I do have some of my first ones here. And whether these were before or after Dirty Pair, Dirty Pair is one of the reasons why my interest continued and grew, and I picked up some of these other ones, such as Appleseed. This had come out just before Dirty Pair, I think, 88 maybe, something like that. This is a very well-known series. Mai the Psychic Girl. This was another one. I really liked the story of this. This is really, really cool. Outlanders. This was like a space opera. I started picking this up. I don't remember what issue. I remember going back and trying to find a lot of the back issues. I still don't have all of them. I mean, I have the ending, because when I started reading this, excuse me, I don't think I missed any of them up until the very end. So it's some of the beginning and middle that I'm missing, but I'll complete that eventually. But this is really, really good. So like a lot of people, there was a period where I got out of comics for a few years, and it might have been maybe 2 years before I got back into them. I found out Adam Warren had started his own original creation, Empowered. This is the second volume, collected edition. So I started trying to find all of these, which he puts out in. He actually doesn't put them out in regular size issues. He releases them kind of like manga style, really, in these graphic novel form volumes. So this much comes out all at once. And then, how many is it? 4 or 5 of them get compiled into these? I think it's 4, if I remember correctly. 4 or 5 will get turned into one of those. There's Sista Spooky. These are really, really fun. But he does release single issue, and they're always this weird size. These single issues, they're like specials. So like he'll do a little bit of art in the opening and ending, and then he'll have a guest artist do the rest, sometimes in color. So that's kind of interesting. So something I really love about the artwork in Empowered is it's done entirely in pencil sketch. There's no color, there's no ink, it's just pencil, and I love that. A few more shots there. And there is always a bit of color at the beginning there. And there she is talking to her younger self. I think Adam Warren was also one of the very first creators that I started to actually follow, like someone that I actually paid attention to. It wasn't just like, you know, picking up a copy of Spider-Man and, you know, not knowing or caring who the artist is or the writer was or whatever, which was the case for me at the time. Yeah, like I made sure to remember Adam Warren's name and to always look for him. If he was doing something else, I collect all the Gen 13s that he's done whenever I can. There's still a few of his that I don't have. But in like previous hauls that from conventions and stuff, I've shown Gen 13s that he's done. So yeah, like anything that he does that I can find, I will buy it. So yeah, so I guess this video was not just about one particular comic. It was about a few, and also a bit about a creator, I guess. So maybe this isn't quite what you wanted, but I don't know. That's what I came up with. Again, sorry for my late entry, and good luck to everybody else in the contest, and see ya.